Okay. Here's what just happened. I just spent a really long time making a video where I was just talking randomly. It started out as there we go. Started out as a video that I just was gonna keep. I wasn't really gonna upload it or anything like that. And then I got into movies somehow. I was saying how I want to start watching the whole Angel series. And it's a little more campy than Buffy the Vampire Slayer was, but it's I like it. I like Joss Whedon and whatnot, the director. So that's what got me into saying that if I like a show, like I'll watch a single show. If I like it, it's all over. I have to watch every one from the first episode on and finish it. And I'm kind of like that with movies too. Like if I like a movie, I will look up the director and watch like every movie they make. I particularly like. Sorry, it stopped for some reason. I particularly like Guy Ritchie. He does Snatch, Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, I believe. Rock and Rolla, Revolver. I think he might be involved in Train Spotting. But there you go, you get another director there, Danny Boyle. He did The Beach and I believe 28 Days Later, both of which are really up there in my list of favorite movies. Which was weird because I was at 7-Eleven and they have discount DVDs there, and I saw The Beach and I saw 28 Days Later, and I bought both of them. I knew Danny Boyle was involved in 28 Days Later, but I didn't know that he was involved in The Beach, which is Leonardo DiCaprio's in it. They find that beach. It's like they live on this island. Damn truck. Anyway, then I got to talking about my favorite movie scene. Now, my favorite movie scene, like, I couldn't really tell you what my favorite movie is, but when someone asks me that, I can tell them what my favorite movie scene is. Now, I have a lot of them, but the first one that comes to mind is the scene in 28 Days Later, where the main character, after the three of them, the woman, the main character, dude, and that kid get to that house with the army guys in it, the safe house, at some point the men want to remake civilization and want to rape these girls and have babies and stuff like that, and he protests it, and they take him out off the property beyond the wall and try to kill him. They were going to kill him, but he gets away, and basically he comes back. Eventually zombies are able to break their defenses, and the whole house is overrun with these zombies. It's not even really zombies, they just are infected with the rage virus. In the beginning of the movie they say that they're infected with rage. So it's not actually a zombie, they're not coming back from the dead per se, they're infected with a disease that makes them rageful. Anyway, he ends up coming back to rescue the woman and the younger girl. And this is with the horde of the infected running through the house. And, he's angry, he's pissed. These guys are trying to just attack, they're trying to do harm to his only loved ones that he has left. And they took him out, left him for dead. Not just left him for dead, outside, but outside was a bunch of man-eating things, flesh-eating, infected, rageful things. And so he's pissed, and he comes back and he infiltrates the house, and he's actually moving about the house looking for the girls, and he is moving through the house untouched by the infected. And the thing is throughout the movie, they use a certain camera effect for the infected. they use this effect. It's similar to a Sony Handycam, the old Handycam Hi8. There was a golf effect on that, and that basically made it so when you would pan, it almost looked like choppy, like it was like a million frames put next to each other instead of having one long shot. So it made it look faster. It makes things look like they're going faster. And it's kind of like the effect they used in 28 Days Later for the infected specifically, because they were faster, they were angry, and they were hungry, and they were out to get you. And I thought it was interesting that, because towards the end of the movie, you forget that the infected, they're not just zombies, they're infected with rage, like that's what they call it. And they use the same effect that they use with the zombies to portray, you know, that they're infected, to basically portray the character of the infected. They use that same camera effect on the main character when he re-enters the house to come get the girls. And I think that's really cool, because he is literally, not literally, but he's pretty much technically one of them at that moment, and that's why he's untouched throughout the scene where he's trying to find the girls. No one knows the difference, because he's pissed, and he's back to, you know, seek revenge and rescue his loved ones. And I just thought it was cool how they portrayed that, how they illustrated his anger by using the same effect they used to build the characters, that the infected. And it just, like, it was a good way of illustrating his rage because of that. And it's just such a minute detail, like a minuscule little thing, but I noticed it, and it hits you hard. It hit me hard, and I noticed that, and I was really impressed by it. The scene is already, as is, pretty intense. It's a pretty intense scene as is. I mean, he comes in and tears apart the guy in the room with her, and she, actually for a minute, she thinks he's one of them, because he comes in and literally, like, just rips the guy apart with his bare hands, and then shoves his thumbs into his eye sockets, like, she even thought. So they did illustrate it pretty well, but I'm wondering, anyone who watches this, did you notice this? And if so, if this is like an aha, oh yeah, Jesus, like an aha moment, I totally noticed that too, comment on it, because I thought it was really important. It was something that, had it had been skipped, would have made a totally different movie. So that's, my movie thing. The other thing I touched on in the second part, I don't know, I was trying to tape something and my phone ran out of battery, or space, and stopped the video and didn't save it, so I ended up having to come back and do a part 2, but then I got a phone call in the middle of it, so I had to do a part 3, and then I find out that the initial video that I just redid now never saved anyway, so part 2 and 3 had no partners. But the other thing I got into in part 3 was digital photography, and the difference between, well, not the difference between it, but I used to be kind of like a hater on digital photography and the like. I was, all about film, but there are some benefits to digital, like obvious benefits, that, for one, I mean, you see the photo immediately. It's instant gratification. We're like digital addicts, and you see it right away, and that can be good, but it kind of takes the art out of it, because when you use a regular camera with film, you have to learn your camera. There's a lot of information that you need to learn and know in order to take a good photo. Like, you have to know your camera. Like, you don't know what's coming out of that until you develop them, and that is kind of like, that end result that you finally look at you know, you start to put two and two together on what settings work the best for you, what comes out the best, you know, and you learn that about your camera, about your surroundings, about the way you use your camera and frame shots and all that stuff, and that is kind of like digital photography. Kind of, it comes with